Our last section in this unit is talking about triangles and proportional segments. The first part here says that two segments are said to be divided proportionally when the ratios of their corresponding lengths are equal. So let's look at an example. We have two segments. Call this one A, B, C with length 2 and 3. And then another segment, call it D, E, and F. And AB is 2 and BC is 3. And then if we have a second segment that is longer, so if we say their corresponding lengths are equal, E and F, we gotta set up our proportion. So we would have the ratio of the first segment, which would be 2 to 3. And that would need to equal the ratio of the second segment, which would be, so when we look at the 4 over 6 between the two segments, when you simplify 4 over 6, you get 2 over 3. DE and those are equal. Are going to go together to form a ratio. So we would have those 2 to 4 ratios are equal. That means that the two segments are divided proportionally. BC and EF are going to be with a ratio. So a triangle, we would have 3 to 6. The triangle proportionality theorem says that if a line is parallel to the base of the triangle, so if we draw that in, this line is parallel to the base of our triangle, then the smaller triangle formed at the top is proportional to the original triangle, and the sides are proportional. So here we can say if our sides are proportional, these two sides here are just like two segments from above, so we can say that A over B is going to be equal to C over D. And then our sides are also proportional, so we have our base, I'm going to call this one E and this one F, and our whole side over here is going to be G, and this whole side is H. So when we set up our ratios, if we have this side of our small triangle, A, it's going to be proportional to the big side of our triangle, which is G. That's going to equal our small side of this triangle to the big side of the triangle, H, and then the small side of this triangle to the large side of the triangle. Okay, so these are our formulas that we're going to use for these examples below. So this one says to find the indicated measures of this triangle. So if we draw a line in the middle, these two lines are parallel, and we are going to label our points D, G, F, H, and E. Here we're going to call this angle 1 and angle 2. This is 71 degrees and this is 38 degrees. Okay, and then this base is Y and this base is 14. The first thing it wants us to find is X. So we can use our two sides here as proportional segments. So we can say that X over 8 is equal to 3 over 4. Cross multiply, get 8 times 3 is 24, and 4 times X is 4X. Divide by 4 on both sides, and X equals 6. Okay, then to find Y, we can set up a proportional statement with our sides. So if we know that the base of our small triangle is Y, that's going to be proportional to the base of our large triangle. And that ratio is going to equal, we have to pick two more sides to compare. So if we look over here, if we add up 4, and 3, we get this whole side is 7. And then the small side of our triangle here is 3. So if we have our small triangle to our large triangle, we would have 3 over 7. So now we can solve. We have 7 times y is 7y, and 3 times 14 is 42. Divide by 7, and y equals 6. So our y is also going to equal 6 over here. So now we have the hard part on the sides where we set up proportional statements. Now we can find the angles, which we know are just going to be congruent between the triangles. So if we can find angle 1 right here, we need to find an angle that's corresponding to that in the small triangle. And we know that 38 right here is a corresponding angle because it's on the same side of our transverse and in the same position above those parallel lines. So if this one's 38, then we know angle 1 is 38 degrees. Then same thing for angle 2 over here. We know that angle 2 and this angle right here, 71, are corresponding since they're on the same side of our transversal and in the same position above, sitting on top of those parallel lines. This one's 71, then angle 2 is 71. Okay, we have one last example. And in this one, it's asking us to find C and D. So to start off with, if we look at our two segments, we got this segment on one side and this segment on the other. So we can say that our ratio 6 over C is going to equal 4 over 6. Cross multiply, we get 6 times 6 is 36, which equals 4C. Divide by 4, C equals 9. And then our last step to find D is we need to set up a proportional statement between the sides. So if we have D and side D right here and 10, we can compare that to our small side here, which is 4, to our whole side, where we have to add up these two pieces, 6 plus 4, which gives me 10. So I have 4 to 10. Cross multiply, 10D equals 40. Divide by 10, and I get D equals